You step through the door of your trusted local gun shop, and wham, it hits you. Not the familiar clack of a bolt carrier group seeding home or the scent of Hoppa's number 9, but the sight of shells groaning under the weight of ammunition. Just a few short years ago, those same aisles were as bare as a bone. Today, you're staring down canyons of 9mm Luger, 223 Remington, and even 308 Winchester, stacked to the rafters and collecting dust. There are no crowds. There's no feeding frenzy. No one's fighting over the last box. Hell, some of it's actually on sale. That same picture is painted online. Click over to your go-to retailers, and you'll scroll through page after page of brass-cased range fodder, just waiting for a shipping label. It's like the great ammo hurricane of 2020 blew through, and now we're living in the strange, silent eye of the storm. The word on the street, whispered in forums and across gun counters, is that ammunition sales have fallen off a cliff. The reason? The American wallet is getting squeezed shut. Now, if you're a shooter who's seen a few decades pass, this isn't your first rodeo. You've ridden out these cycles before. You didn't panic by your first polymer pistol when the world went sideways. You've likely got a Dillon press in your workshop, your safes are already organized just so, and you've got stories from the range that are older than half the gun tubers on the internet. So when I tell you the ammo market feels wrong, I don't need to convince you. You felt it too. And I bet my last primer you're asking the same question I am. What's the real story here? Where is this heading? And what are we, the serious shooters, supposed to do about it? That's what we're going to tear down today. No fluff, no corporate spin, just a straight shooting conversation from one longtime gun guy to another. So pour a cup of that black coffee, give that heater on your hip a quick press check, and let's figure out why those ammo boxes are gathering dust on shelves that are finally full. Part 1, riding the ammo whiplash. Let's rack the slide back and talk about ammunition. Because if you've been squeezing triggers for more than a minute, you know the market has been nothing short of a bucking bronco. We're talking about peaks, valleys, and full-blown panics that made the gun show on Black Friday look like a quiet afternoon at the library. Think back to 2008. A single election night sends a shockwave through the country, and suddenly everyone is stacking 223 Remington and 45 automatic Colt pistol like the world's about to end. Then came 2013, in the wake of Sandy Hook. The shells were stripped clean faster than you could say 9mm Luger. Jump to 2020, a global pandemic, riots in the streets, and coast-to-coast lockdowns. And finding 556 North Atlantic Treaty Organization was like spotting a unicorn. You were paying steakhouse prices for a 50-round box of 9mm. And I'm not talking about the local diner. I mean the kind of place with white tablecloths. Now, here in 2025, the tide has gone out. The National Shooting Sports Foundation reports that ammunition sales are down nearly 20% from their pandemic-era highs. You walk into a Cabela's or pull up Brownells online, and it's another world entirely. Pallets of 308 Winchester, towers of 12-gauge shells, even the once mythical 300 Blackout just sitting there. No frantic shoppers, no one-box limits. No jostling for position. At this point, it feels less like selling and more like begging. When you see good, brass-cased 9mm for 30 cents a round, that's not a sale. That's a distress flare. Over on the forums, from AR15.com to the high road, the chatter is all the same. The hardcore range rats and the weekend plinkers are seeing it. Ammo just isn't moving. Even those bulk spam cans of surplus we used to pounce on are now just doorstops. Don't get me wrong, seeing inventory is a good thing. No more horse trading with your buddy for a box of 380 automatic Colt pistol to feed your backup piece. But it forces the question, what's really going on? Is this just a hangover from a bruised economy? Or are we seeing a fundamental shift in the American shooting culture? Part 2, the money crunch hitting the firing line. Let's get down to brass tacks. Why do today's ammo shells feel more like a museum than a marketplace? If you've been in this game for a while, you know that for us, shooting isn't just a hobby. It's a part of our identity. It's discipline. It's self-reliance. It's a tangible expression of the Second Amendment. But here in 2025, a harsh reality is sinking its teeth into that way of life, and it's hitting right where it counts. The wallet. Inflation? That's not just a word on the evening news. It's a punch to the gut every single day. The cost of a week's worth of groceries, which used to be about the same as a quality inside the waistband holster, now chews up the money you had set aside for a new red dot. Filling up your truck costs what a solid day of training at the range used to. And for those on a fixed income, every dollar spent becomes a strategic decision. Do I burn through a few mags this weekend, or do I make sure the lights stay on? Sure, the Bureau of Labor Statistics might claim inflation is hovering around 4 or 5%, but try telling that to your billfold. For most of us, it feels like the cost of living has damn near doubled. Wages haven't kept pace. That discretionary cash you use to earmark for a 300-round range session, or that new low-power variable optic for your carbine, it's been vaporized. Look, we're not the type to whine when the going gets tough. We've seen lean times before. But when a 50-count box of good old 45 automatic Colt pistol is still $25 on sale, and the air conditioner gives out in the middle of July, that trip to the range starts to feel less like essential training and more like a luxury. Spend 5 minutes on the high road, ar15.com, or the gun subreddit, and you'll see the same story over and over. I'd love to shoot more, but I just can't afford it. Some of you are making hard cuts, skipping range days entirely, running dry fire drills in the garage, and practicing reloads with snap caps to maintain proficiency. It's not just factory-loaded ammo, either. Hand loaders are feeling the squeeze. Primers are still a headache to source. Powder prices have climbed, and if you live more than a couple of highway exits from a decent outdoor range, the cost of gasoline for the trip might be as much as a box of match-grade 223. The bottom line is this: our entire lifestyle, from casual plinking to serious defensive training, is being caught in a financial vice. And that pressure is coming from an economy that doesn't give a damn how many rounds you sent downrange last year. Part 3. More than just empty wallets, the domino effect. Let's be straight about it. This isn't just about the money anymore. The great panic of 2020 and 2021, that storm has passed. No one is walking into a gun store today thinking the shelves will be empty tomorrow. Back then, every breaking news story felt like a lit fuse, and most of us rightfully stacked our ammunition deep. Chances are, those olive drab ammo cans you've got stored away are still holding bolt packs of 5.56 North Atlantic Treaty Organization or 9mm Luger from the lockdown gold rush. And it's not just us. The big players, Federal, Winchester, Remington, they spun up production to meet that once-in-a-generation demand. Now, they're sitting on mountains of product that simply isn't being bought. Here's the other side of the coin. The influx of new shooters has tapered off. That tidal wave of first-time gun owners we saw during the pandemic has slowed to a crawl. So you have a massive base of veteran shooters who are already well-stocked, fewer new people entering the fold, and factories still churning out rounds. The result is a market flooded with supply and crippled by demand. But don't get twisted, the economy is still the root cause. This financial pressure isn't just affecting our personal budgets. It's sending shockwaves through every corner of the firearms world. From a 3-gun competitor to the guy plinking with a 22 long rifle, ammo is sitting idle not because of apathy, but because we're weighing the cost of primers against the cost of propane. And this slowdown isn't just a temporary lull. It's a chain reaction that extends far beyond your local gun range. Manufacturers, companies like Hornady and Federal aren't nonprofits. When inventory stagnates, their cash flow seizes up. This can lead to layoffs, scaled back production, and a halt in innovation. It means fewer options for specialized loads, less finely tuned match-grade 308 Winchester, and a smaller selection of high-performance plus P hollow points for your everyday carry piece. Retailers, online giants like Midway USA and Brownells, as well as your corner gun store, survive on turnover. When ammunition sits, they're forced to slash prices and their profit margins evaporate. The big box stores can weather the storm, but for the small, independent shops, a deep freeze like this can be a death sentence. Shooting ranges, that familiar smell of burnt powder and the satisfying ring of steel, that's a business. And right now, that business is hurting. With fewer shooters buying ammo and paying for lane time, many ranges are forced to cut hours or operate with skeleton crews. Some are closing their doors for good. When they vanish, so it is a vital part of our community infrastructure. Second Amendment advocacy. This is the part that hits closest to home. When shooters buy less, the entire gun rights ecosystem suffers. A significant portion of the funding for organizations like the National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of America, and the Second Amendment Foundation comes from the firearms industry itself. Weaker funding means weaker political opposition. Every dollar that isn't spent in our community is an inch of ground ceded to those who want to take our rights away. Part 4. Smart shooting in tough times. Staying sharp without breaking the bank. Let's be clear, it's not all doom and gloom. If you've been in this for the long haul, you know how to adapt. The real question isn't if we can get through this, but how we do it without letting our skills degrade or our culture wither on the vine. Buy smart, don't panic. Right now, we are seeing prices that feel like a throwback to 2016. Bulk cases of 9mm Luger are dipping below 30 cents per round. If you have the means, this is a good time to strategically replenish your stores of common calibers. But this isn't a call to go full-on prepper. Focus on buying what you will actually shoot in the next 12 months. Sites like AmmoSeek.com remain invaluable for comparing prices, but don't forget to check in with your local brick-and-mortar store. Many are willing to negotiate to keep inventory moving. and invest in proper storage. Ammunition is useless if it succumbs to corrosion in a damp basement. Reloading, old school, money smart. If you already hand load, you've seen that component prices are finally beginning to stabilize. A single pound of Hodgdon Varget can produce hundreds of rounds for your .308 Winchester, saving you a significant amount of money in the long run. If you've never reloaded, now might be the perfect time to learn. Start with a basic single-stage press, get a couple of trusted manuals, and take it slow. Online communities like Cast Bullets or the Reloading subreddit are treasure troves of information. Just remember the golden rule. Precision is everything. We're building tools for sub-minute of angle accuracy, not pipe bombs. Training that won't torch your wallet. Effective training doesn't have to mean burning through hundreds of rounds. Dry fire practice is free, and it is fundamentally important. Drill your draw stroke. Practice your reloads, and work through malfunction clearances at home. To enhance your dry fire sessions, consider investing $50 in a laser trainer cartridge. It will pay for itself in a single afternoon. When you do go to the range, make the most of it by bringing your .22 long rifle. A 500-round brick for $40 provides hours of valuable trigger time and fundamentals practice without devastating your budget. Strengthen the tribe. Your local shooting community is more than just a gathering of like-minded individuals. It's the lifeblood of our culture. Trade ammunition or reloading components with trusted friends. Stop by our local gun store just to talk shop. These small, family-owned businesses and local ranges are the bedrock of the Second Amendment lifestyle. They've been there for us. Now it's time for us to be there for them. Back to fight, now more than ever. While we're pinching pennies, the anti-gun politicians are watching and waiting. A weakened industry is an opportunity for them to push through restrictive legislation. This is precisely why we cannot afford to disengage. Contribute what you can to the National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of America, or the Second Amendment Foundation. Whether it's $5 or $50, every bit helps fund the legal and political battles that protect our rights. All right, brothers in arms, we've laid it all out. Ammunition sales are in a slump, not because our passion has faded, but because the economy is wound tighter than a new leather holster. The shockwaves from this are undeniable from the factory floor to the firing line. But let's be honest with ourselves. This isn't our first skirmish. We've weathered the empty shelves, the price gouging, and the political storms. We kept shooting then, and we'll keep shooting now. This isn't the end of the world. It's just another economic cycle. And people like us, we were built to withstand it. Be deliberate with your purchasing. If you reload, double down on your craft. If you can't, dry fire until it becomes second nature. Support the institutions that form the backbone of our community. Your local shops, your neighborhood ranges, and the folks behind the counter who know you by name. And never forget, our rights are not self-defending. The Second Amendment stands only because we stand with it. Join an organization. Make a donation. Show up to vote. Make your voice heard when it counts. Until next time, keep your magazines loaded, keep your powder dry, and keep your aim true. We are still here, and we're not going anywhere.